Feedback. Feedback. Hi, this is Theo Broughton.
And I am Thabiti Mpinda.
Inviting you to join us each Monday at 9 a.m. for feedback.
A positive image production by Hood Research.
Encourage others to tune in each Monday on
Comcast Detroit, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, watch WHPR TV Network anywhere.
And take us along with you. Feedback, feedback, feedback.
It's you liberals who have lifted them up, Howard.
Paul, you conservatives make a mistake. You can't afford to strangle hope in people. Without hope, people become dangerous.
No, Howard, you liberals have let them invade our society. You give them jobs, political jobs.
Paul, you missed the point. It's only the smart ones we move up.
That makes it even worse.
No, we have to move them up. If we leave a smart one in the ghetto, he might develop into a leader against us. But if we raise him up into white society, we neutralize him. He feels compelled to try to act like us. He loses his identity and his racial anger, if he has any. He becomes alien to his brothers. They realize he sold them out and they grow to hate him. He becomes worthless to them and safe for us. No, thank you. In fact, in his love for the creature comforts, except for his color, he's become one of us.
And he's become one of us. Happy Monday to all of you who are tuned in today. Thank you so much. My name is Theo Broughton, co-founder of Hood Research. And I want you to know that we have a website, hoodresearch.org. We have all of the bells and whistles of Facebook and Twitter, etc. Our phone number is area code 248-234-2371. Hood Research will be meeting this coming Saturday, which is in November the 9th. Let's see. Today is the 5th. 12, and that'd be the 10th. This coming Saturday should be November the 10th. And we hope that you will consider attending our meeting. The location of the meeting is 12048 Grand River on the corner of Wyoming. And the meeting is from 2 p.m. until 6. That's this coming Saturday, November 10th, 2 p.m. at Grand River and Wyoming. 12048 Grand River, the Dabo Center. We hope you'll bring others with you as well. I want to say good morning to Rosa and to Vera and Barbara and to Ron and to a young man I met this past weekend, Ben. And he tunes in to Hood Research, and we're expecting him to attend the meeting this coming Saturday. Good morning to Claire and to Clementine and Gladys. And good morning to Keith. Should be wiping his eyes right about now, waking up this morning. And good morning to Jay, way on the east side. Good morning to Roy and Tom, and to Al. And Sylvia saw her over the weekend as well, and Katrina. You want to say good morning to us, just so many.
Say we greet you in peace. Shout outs to Sister Jackie. Brother Shane, saw him over the weekend. Very active young man, very engaged. Sister Ruth Ann, also very engaged. Sister Sheila Ragland, Cheryl D., Sister Gwen, who is a recent but new viewer. Sister Frida Washington, who is really dedicated co-worker and very dedicated to the cause. Also, I ask you to have friends, neighbors, co-workers, acquaintances to tune in and to have pen and paper handy for information you may want to record.
Yes, and this is the day for preparation. The day for preparation. Because it's the day before our election. I heard some people over the past week talking about joining them and boycotting the election tomorrow. And I thought to myself, how sad that people don't realize if they don't vote one, their vote does not count. If they don't vote two, that's what the opposition wants. They want them not to vote. You know, if your vote was not valuable, why would people try so hard to prevent you from voting? There are so many tricks being played in Georgia, the state of Georgia, Texas, and Florida, and you wonder why are they trying so hard to keep our people from voting, to keep you from voting. That should ring a bell if none of the other reasons for you to vote ring a bell. That should. Yesterday was a good day. I was at a meet and greet, and we had candidates there, and the attendees had an opportunity to ask their own questions, and it went very, very well. Even Sugar Ring Donuts brought refreshments. That was good too. So I want you to know that this has been a productive weekend. Candidates were here, and as I tuned into a few news programs, we were hearing that our former President Barack Obama was flying in and out in different cities, and even Detroit was one of those cities, and he was encouraging people to participate in the voting process. And the young lady, Stacy, who's campaigning for governor in the state of Georgia, was driving down the freeway. Her phone rang. She answered her phone, and it was Oprah Winfrey. And she was, of course, stunned and shocked and surprised. And she says, well, let me pull over. So she got over to a safe place and stopped. And Oprah Winfrey told her that she was coming to help. And so the young lady running for governor said, oh, that'll be wonderful. So Oprah Winfrey on her own prepared to go to Georgia to help the election process in Georgia. But again, I say, if your vote was not valuable, there would not be so many efforts to keep you from voting. You don't want anybody to keep you from voting, do you? You know, we have many candidates who are campaigning throughout the community and going door to door, and just really they're beginning to enjoy how the residents greet them and have questions, and to feel welcome within the community is a good thing. You know, Thabiti, I have met the candidates who were out for the Charter Commission. And I start with that because it is the constitution for the city. And as we've talked about from time to time, how the labels of each district, city, county, state, and federal are different but the same. The charter of the city and the charter of the county are the same as the Constitution of the state and the Constitution of the United States. Those documents have the rules by which those various entities are governed. And the fact that there was a vote, a challenged vote, by the way, that says that the charter for the city of Detroit is to be opened, we now find ourselves selecting candidates to be a part of the Charter Commission. They serve for 3 years, and at the end of the 3 years, we get an opportunity to say whether we agree with any of the changes that they have introduced into this charter or not. If there's something in there that you really think would be detrimental to us, then you would vote no. Don't accept the product that they are presenting. If they do a good job and the changes are beneficial to the community, then you can vote to agree for those changes to be placed in the new charter. It comes a point every 16 years where we review our charter. But of course, this is a little different situation because about 6 years ago, we had a council member who introduced the idea of opening the charter early. And folks wonder why, and he did that, but anyway, it happened. And there were some things put in the charter that others want changed now. It seems that there's a desire to eliminate the commission that oversees the police department. We need civilian oversight of that department to continue. We need it to continue. And we need civilian oversight of other departments as well. Thavita, did you have anything in that packet that speaks to the Charter Commission itself or candidates?
Well, there is a people slate that is promoting a group of people who will be their picks for the Detroit Charter Commission, and they do have an agenda. Which one of the things is to extend residency requirements for candidates seeking office in Detroit from 1 to 4 years, which I think is a good idea because we have a lot of opportunists that come in and say, yeah, as long as I'm here long enough, I'm not even getting a feel for the city. So I believe that's an excellent idea. Also, strengthen the police and community relationships by electing 9 police commissioners. Another thought that they have is city council vacancies during a non-election year will be filled by most recent election results and not appointments, which I think may also be good in that the people spoke and whoever came in second, as opposed to another body picking somebody who may be a personal friend or campaign contributor. So we need to be aware of that.
Right, in that. Okay, so we have 9 council members, and there would be a 10th person is the next highest. So if a vacancy occurs, my understanding is they will take the person who came in number 10 in the last council election. And as it relates to that police commission civil group that is the oversight for the police department, they also have 4 people who are appointed by the mayor. And I agree with you that it should be all elected police commissioners. So that was just the comments I had on those 2 recent platform statements. Anything else they have?
Their last position is empower residents through restoration of citizen district councils.
The citizen district councils were approved in 1978 by the state legislature. And when Dennis Archer came in as mayor, he defunded them and made it difficult for them to continue their work. He couldn't abolish them because it wasn't established by the mayor and the council. It was established by the state legislatures in 1978. So by defunding them, in other words, depriving them of operating monies, it made it more difficult for them to operate. And little by little, most of them stopped operating. There is one currently working way over on the east side where Ray is. I'm sorry, where Jay Henderson is. And they still meet, And it's sad that you have people in the administration and on the council who just, it's in your face, residents. We don't care what you want. we're going to do what we're going to do. And the Citizen District Council has power, whereas the little advisory board, they can tell you, well, I recommend this, I recommend that, but it's nothing binding about it.
So that completes the agenda that the people slate is, and I just want to suggest to everyone, we've done this on the last couple of shows, that do your homework ahead of time since it's not a straight ballot, because one of the things that will occur is that you will have a lot of people at the polling places with different kicker cards who are supporting various candidates of various Democrat, Republican, Green Party, Libertarian, etc. So if you do your homework ahead of time, you won't be tempted to follow one of the cards they give you, which most of mine end up in the garbage can after I voted anyway, because I go in there with the mind of knowing who's who and who's got a background. So therefore, again, studying your ballot, becoming familiar with it, and the candidates, and talk with other people that are around you as well, because in the group a lot of information comes out, and this is a time that we need information, we need knowledge, and then we need to go in there and act based on that.
A friend said that when you're going to vote, make sure that you have your glasses, make sure that you have a pen and paper where you've made notes and names of people that you don't want to forget when you get to the voting booth. And even if you have or need a magnifying glass, take that with you as well, because the print on the ballot, strangely enough, is kind of small in some areas. It just seemed that the printer favored some candidates over others. So be sure to think about your glasses, a magnifying glass, and your list of names and your list of other information, such as the proposals, how you want to vote on those, the charter commissioners and the school board commissioners as well. The last thing I want to say about that part is the ballot is long, the ballot is long, and the ballot is printed on both sides. So it would be favorable if you turn the ballot over and vote on the back side first, and work from the back side to the front. You know, the campaign members on the front of the ballot at the beginning have been on TV, what they say, 24/7, non-stop. So you're going to recognize those names and all. But if you start on the back of the ballot, that will help you actually to get through the ballot faster.
I would suggest that those who may not see a ballot until tomorrow when you get into the election booth, attempt to Google. Fortunately, with the technology today, you can find out a lot of information ahead of time for those of you who may not have groups or circles that you associate with who have knowledge of these things, to become familiar with, again, some of these, particularly as Theo was saying, on the back of the ballot you have your judges, those who are running for judge positions, you have your proposals as well, and those are the ones that may take you a little bit more time because, again, you've been bombarded by everybody who's trying to seek a political office. So those names are familiar to you whether you want to be familiar with them or not, but the proposals and things may not get the same amount of attention. So if you start on the back and then again seek information, there's so many different sources you can get information from. This is your you got a test tomorrow. Tonight you do your homework, so that way when you go and take your test tomorrow, you want to get an A. You don't want to get in there and be confused, and you don't want to leave any positions, whether they be proposals, judges, and certainly governor, secretary of state, etc. You don't want to leave any of those blank. So if you take care of your business tonight, when you go in there, it'll be a breeze. I've been talking with my family. They've actually asked me to help them to understand some of the things that are going to be on the ballot because one just got back in from Greece, so she's not really sure what's going on. And it's good for those who know to help those who don't know. If you have neighbors, relatives, the elderly, if you get, let's say, youth who have just become 18, who are just entering into the political arena and understanding their right as a citizen to vote, that they need help as well because this is a new adventure for them. So I think we all need, this is where the community really needs to stick together. I would have hoped that some organizations and circles you've been in as well were very forthcoming with information. They didn't have to take a position, but they should have been in a position to at least make you aware of the rights of voting and the necessity of voting. Blue wave, red wave, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you vote. I would also add, too, that personally for me anyway, I've been doing this since I was 18 years old. I was happy to be able to vote. You know, it's sort of like when you get your driver's license and you're a youth, you get happy about it. Well, I get happy about voting too.
Yeah.
And I hope that we can translate that to other people. And I want to just put a request out for anyone who's listening. If you know whether a person is able to still get absentee ballots from either one of the WC 3D campuses, which could either be the Northwest Campus over on Outer Drive near the Southfield Freeway, or the Eastern Campus, which is at Connor near the 94 Freeway, as well as the Rosa Park Transit Center. If you know if they're still handing out ballots, absentee ballots that you can submit, then if someone knows that, is familiar with that information, please call in so that the rest of our callers can become a part of that. And I think you were saying, Theo, that the Detroit Election Commission office on the Boulevard, as well as the city clerk's office, you can still get your absentee ballot from there. But if anyone knows if those other 3 satellite positions or places are allowing you to do absentee ballot, please tell, because that way you can get it out of the way today. You can sit back tomorrow and just watch the results come in.
Oh, yes. Well, you know, there are some very strong candidates for the Charter Commission, and I rate them really high. And one happens to be Nicole Small. And we had an opportunity for Nicole Small to attend the Hood Research meeting, and the attendees got an opportunity to ask their own questions, you know, of her. And she was very forthcoming and very detailed, and you could tell that she has a knowledge and has been studying the charter. We also rate Joanna Underwood really high. She too attended the Hood Research meeting, and we had an opportunity to hear her and talk to her. And there's Tracy Peters. We rated her high. And there was, oh geez, Harrell. I can't remember the young lady's first name.
Taylor Harrell.
Taylor Harrell. And there's a young man, Denzel McCampbell, and
Brother Byron Osborne, and Sister Barbara Ann are also part of the proposed new Detroit Charter Commission, and they are recommended highly. And we provide this information because, again, there's so many things that are going on in terms of, we already know Secretary of State, Governor, and there are other congressional positions, but, you know, we take care of home first, and home is Detroit. And the Detroit Charter Commission is you can't say enough about how much influence they have over Detroit politics, and it's the Constitution for the city of Detroit. So it's very critical that we let you know about these candidates, because they have the best interests of the citizens of Detroit, as opposed to someone from an outside source. And again, that's why it's important. One of the positions that they've taken, that you need to be a resident for 4 years and not 1 year, because as we know, there's a large influx of people coming into Detroit, and they could totally undermine what the citizens who have been here for decades have fought for and stood for. So we can't let someone pop in from Birmingham, Troy, Livonia, of course, to come in and then start to dictate the politics of the city of Detroit. It's
Right.
very critical.
Absolutely. And I think that the school board election is just as important. You know, they have staggered terms, and right now there are 2 seats that you have to consider or choose from. And we have Lemons, who is one of the people campaigning, and Murray, and also Hunter Harville. Those are the 3 people. And you know, it is said that cursive, as handwriting, has been taken out of the schools. Phonics had been taken out of the schools. And you know, you just say, that's strange, you know? And they don't want our young people to read. As a matter of fact, the man who's running for Governor Schuette is in court, district court. And the part of the lawsuit says that our children around here don't have a right to literacy. They don't have a right to read. That's the craziest thing I ever heard. And the cursive, I find, has not been taken out of the suburban schools. It just seems that they've been taken out of our schools here.
And this is a side note. I was trying to find it on my phone, but I saw it earlier this morning. And you know, when you're waking up and you still got stuff in your eyes, it's hard to comprehend things. But supposedly there are some private prisons which are preparing to sue because they're not able to keep, I forget what state it is, and I'll try to find it before the show is over, but they're trying to sue because they're saying they don't have the inmate population they anticipated, so they're going to sue a state, and I will find it before the show is over.
Oh, my goodness.
Because with them not having the quantity of people that they need in prison, that means it's hard for them to run their institution. So they're encouraging, obviously, in an indirect way, that the state starts locking up more people.
Oh, my goodness. But you know, speaking of that, there is this, I guess, policy they go by. They count the children who are having difficulty reading in the 3rd grade. That's 1, 2, 3, 3rd grade. 3rd grade. Now hold on to that. If the children can't read in the 3rd grade, they build more jail cells for those children. Now, rather than help them learn to read. My question is, if they're looking at 3rd grade, what the hell is going on with, you know, pre-K, kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade, as it relates to reading? What are the teachers doing at that time? Why aren't they helping the children learn to read? Preschool, kindergarten, 1st grade, 2nd grade. That's 4 years. But to talk about what they use as a barometer from the 3rd grade, what do you think?
Well, we'll have to just do some more analysis. I mean, there's a lot of opinions. I want to go to this caller who may have that information I requested. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Happy Monday.
Podcast,
All right.
Channel 91.
Uh-huh.
I did see that on Facebook, Tabiti. These are white private prison owners, prison industry. And they are upset with the state because they don't have enough beds filled. So if that doesn't sound like a modern-day slavery, I don't know what to tell you.
Right.
So this is why it's so important to get your votes out,
Right.
because whether you believe in the system or not, it's still affecting us. The policies are being made to continue to enslave. There's policies that's being made to continue to keep dumb and numb. And this is how people profit off of other people's ignorance. So please do your research before you even vote, and vote those people in power that can really set you free from all this austerity.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wow.
Okay.
Can you imagine owners of prisons trying to pay off judges and prosecutors and lawyers and police officers to railroad more people so they can fill their jail cells?
And as we know, I believe it was in Philadelphia, the judge that had convicted over 5,000, let's say, so-called minority youth, and those cases had to be overturned. As a matter of fact, he's a prisoner now himself after trying to get other youth, giving them extreme sentences, again in the same thought process of being able to keep those prison beds filled. And to your point, Theo, about the by the third grade, they've already made an analysis. I would say that if one looks at it, the curriculum, how much is it focused, and certainly not every community, particularly affluent communities, they're not even in the running for as far as third grade, because they're going to make sure. One of the things I think that we should do is to make sure that we supplement our children's education. I do that with my granddaughter all the time. But if she's struggling with math or something like that, I work with her on that because it's critical. That's one way you defeat the pipeline to prison, school pipeline to prison thing, is to make sure that your children are, and not only aware of reading, and I've said this before in the past, but unless you're able to read, when you go to your history class, when you go to your math class, if you haven't mastered English, then learning all these new terms, dividends, fractions, percentages, it will mean nothing to you if you don't have a sound, solid foundation in reading. And I just happen to be passionate with it. So you
Yes.
can't go on to science or anything if you haven't mastered reading first.
Right.
You get so far behind, then maybe the only thing you will be is discouraged, and then look at other alternatives which are negative
Yeah.
in order to be able to make a living.
And then when people are angry, they start to act out. And then sometimes they will begin to see things they'd like to have, but they're not prepared. So they just decide to take them. And then voila, you've got all these beds filled in the jails. Well, what I found interesting was, while they have discontinued cursive writing in our schools, out in the suburban areas, they still teach it. And if you want to read old history documents, such as the Declaration of Independence, or if you take an old sheet music, Lift Every Voice and Sing, any of those, if you want to read them and you can't read cursive, but they're on the printed sheet in cursive, what do? I mean, you just throw up your hands and walk away.
My granddaughter's struggling with that now, and I've still been trying to find, and I have to go to a teacher store, I'm sure, hopefully, because I haven't found in some of the other places I visited, where they had the, as I recall, when I came up in school, they had the broken line that you could trace to learn how to make cursive letters, G, F, whatever it is. They had it where all you had to do is trace, and then you learn how to connect those and make words. But people who don't do that, you can't sign documents without it. Now, another thing I'd like to just add, too, okay, we're going to the voting booths tomorrow, some of us.
Yes.
The reading, let's just say if you haven't, because we know there's a certain percentage that are considered functionally illiterate, and then there's some who are just plain illiterate.
Okay.
So when you enter into the booth, let's just say that, and Theo made a good point about the Detroit school board, that it's important to be able to read, because if you get in there, if you get tripped up, and the terminology on these ballots is not easy. I do a lot of reading, and I still have trouble when they throw a little thing in there, throw you off, and you don't know whether, and then sometimes they'll say it in such a way that if you wanted, your intent was to pass it, but the way they worded it, you end up writing yes, and it means that they're not going to pass it. It's so many little tricks that they use, and if you don't have an educated voter, an educated population, anything can be thrown at them, or the person just doesn't mark that ballot at all in that position, which doesn't serve the purpose at all. So we have to become a little bit more savvy. I just got to throw this in here real quick also, Theo, and I'm not sure, but somewhere in Oakland County, they are getting rid of all their African-American books. Now, this is something else I saw. Just, like I say, information just comes, like rain from everywhere. But the purpose is, or as we speculate, the purpose is that if you eliminate these books on African-American history, then you basically disqualify it as something that's even relevant to study. So that means all you're going to get is a Eurocentric education. So therefore, you develop a Eurocentric mindset as well, because you don't have anything to balance it off of. But we're going to go to this caller now. Hello, caller. Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us?
91, I had to call back. Why you should vote. It impacts how you are taxed, impacts how your water and sewage bill is, impacts your community, businesses, and job creation, impacts how your children are educated, impacts who is targeted and criminalized, impacts your community parks and recreation centers, impacts your neighborhood is clean and serviced, impacts how neighborhood is policed, impacts the community concerning zoning, coding, and planning. Thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for calling. And we've got the lines lit up now.
All right.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Comcast.
Thank you.
Good morning, big brother. Good morning, Queen.
Good morning and happy Monday to you.
Happy Monday. This is Brother Jihad.
Yes.
Queen, big brother, I always had to go back to my father, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad,
Okay.
and how those young pioneers in the early 30s went to jail because they made a stand, and they snatched their children out of the public school system and began to properly educate their own children. Until we get that type of mindset, realizing that the bad people that brought our forefathers here had no intention of making us the equal or in competition with them. And we, for some reason, in 2018, we haven't come to that realization or whatever. This system that we live in, it's a thorn in our side. And it's not going to change until we change. And until we get the mentality and the love that we should have, that we have for everybody else, that we should have for ourselves, it's not going to change. And that's our biggest problem. You think about it, in our communities, everybody runs a business that don't look like us. And this is not this is all engineered, and it's been actually orchestrated by the very people that we look forward that should be fair, and they're not fair. They have never shown us justice since we've been here, and that's the federal government. And until we get in terms of pulling our nickels and dimes together and coming together and stop allowing labels to keep us divided, what we will get, understand, will be what we have earned. If the God would kill every last one of us in 2018, as a people, we would be deserving of it because we haven't learned. We can tell our daughters when they've been mistreated by no good man, the leaving, we should be thinking in terms the same way. And we shouldn't be afraid. We should put our faith in God because it's our time. And I'm going to say this, Queen, in 2019, it's going to be a real triumph year for all of us. 2019 is a very significant number, and all hell is going to break out in 2019. Mark my word, Queen. It's going to happen. God is involved.
Thank you.
Love
Queen
you all.
All right,
Thank you, brother.
And you know that's why it's so significant that we participate in the election process tomorrow. It is vitally important that we learn the actions and the characters of the people who are offering their service as elected officials.
I'm going to add this footnote, and we're going right back to the calls. I agree with the brother, and what I would add, though, is I appreciate this, let's say, Western education they gave me, because I supplemented my own education. I didn't allow them to be the exclusive teachers of myself nor my children, which is why they went to Malcolm X Academy. But the reason I mention that is because the training that he has given me, or the institutionalization or indoctrination that this system of education, Western system of education, has done, is it has let me know who my enemy is as well. And sometimes we have to, I'm not really Fox News or Rush Limbaugh, but I need to know what these people think, because that's the only way I can gauge exactly what I'm going to do. If I don't know that, and my knowledge is just like let's say any other ethnic group, they need to know about Hispanic history, Asian history, but they need to know about the people that they're dealing with as well, because that's the only way you can effectively deal with them, looking at what their track record is, how they've done things over the years, because we know they've tried to isolate us from voting, but we got, like I say, the lines are hot now. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Good morning to both of you. Born new, Comcast 91.
Oh, thanks for calling.
Yes, regarding the brother's question about absentee ballots,
Yes.
I just called the city clerk, and you can confirm what I'm ready to say by calling at 313-224-3270. They answer pretty good over there at that number. That's 224-3270. And they said if you already have an absentee ballot in hand, you have to get it to the clerk's office tomorrow by 8 o'clock on the boulevard.
Mm-hmm.
And that you can vote absentee today at the sites that have been open for early voting, including the two Wayne County Community College sites
Yes.
on the east side and northwest.
Right.
It closed at 4 o'clock today, she said, though.
Oh, okay. That's out
In
of
the Rosa
Drive
Park
in
Center.
Southfield. Out
You
of Drive
can-
in Southfield is the one on the west side. The one on the east side is I-94 and Connor, across from the city airport. That's now called the Coleman Young International Airport.
Yes, and you can vote at the Rosa Parks Center absentee, but you can't take or request an absentee ballot anymore. The deadline was Saturday at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
So if you're going to vote absentee, you have to vote on site at those early spots.
Okay.
And again, if you want to confirm that, that's at 224-3270.
Mm-hmm. All righty. Thank
Truly
you so
appreciate
much.
that.
All right, brother. Y'all have a good day.
Okay, thank you. Hello, caller, you're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Hi, good morning. This is Dee Dee, and on my cell phone.
Okay, welcome.
Great show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Why am I voting? I heard the President of the United States say that the young lady down in Georgia was not qualified, and the young man running for governor in Florida is not qualified. And the young lady ran her credentials yesterday, and it made my back, a chill go up and down my spine. She's more qualified than he ever will be. That's why I'm getting out there and voting, and everybody else needs to get out and vote. No matter, I mean, we might never, this might be our last election.
Yeah, the way they're going, you're right.
This might be our last election because they want to turn this into, they said his favorite book to read was about the lead up to Hitler and what happened in Nazi Germany. And, now I'm up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning dealing with Clifford. I'm looking at these new programs about they took away the education. That was one of the first things they did, was the value of the education in Germany. Okay? Mm-hmm. So we need to, like you say, research and open our minds. And if it used to be, well, I'm not going to vote because my vote's not going to count, this is not that type of election.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Just
good
just
point.
wanted to throw it out there.
That's a good point.
Okay, thank you guys for letting me get it off my chest.
Thanks for calling.
Bye-bye.
All righty.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Is it me?
Yes.
Oh, quickly, I just wanted to say, vote yes on all the proposals. Vote yes to help yourself, to free yourself economically and educationally, and have more rights to fight for yourself and others. I found the article. It says private prisons suing state for millions if they don't stay full. Low crime rates, bad for business for white-owned private prisons.
Mm-hmm.
They demand states keep them full. So that's why I said vote yes on all the proposals. Vote yes to help yourself. Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
You're welcome.
Again, I want to repeat that number that we received from Born New about the election so that those of you who may not have had a pen at the time, the phone number is area code 313-224-3270. Again, that's area code 313-224-3270, so you can find out about absentee information at some of these satellite voting places.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
This is Kurt from Detroit, Channel 33.
Thank you, Kurt.
Thanks for calling.
Good morning to both of you.
Happy Monday.
I will admit that voting is important, but I don't think that should be black people in the city of Detroit priority. I think it should be solely a supplement to what we're trying to do for ourselves. We're going to have to form us authority or an association. We are too dependent on others for our welfare. We got to get out of that position. Seriously. We got to get away from that. And regardless of what we do, even if it's voting, we still need money for our candidate. Look how well those commercial work for Gretchen. I'm voting for Gretchen tomorrow. I'm voting yes on 1, 2, and 3. I'm with you guys on this. But regardless of what we do, we need money.
I agree.
So
I agree.
we need money to do it. That's all I'm saying. And then the quickest way to do that is to form an association or an authority like all the others are doing. We need to do that first because that will support everything else we're trying to do. And thanks for taking my call.
Wait, don't go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
We meet this coming Saturday at the Dabo Center, Grand River, in Wyoming, and we need to talk about that effort you speak of. But there are 4 proposals. Is the 4th proposal not to your liking? You talk about us needing money. You know what the 4th proposal is?
No, what is it?
We have 4 proposals altogether, and I believe I heard you say you're voting for 3.
I said 1, 2, and 3. They said yes on 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, well, number 4 is about Wayne County Community College. And they're asking for a continuation of the millage that people are paying currently. Not an increase, but just the same thing to continue. Because the college needs the money also. The chancellor...
Well, I'll ask for.
Oh,
that sounds good to me.
Yes.
They have scholarships. They do. And they also have free classes for anybody that is 60 years of age or older.
I'm 65, so I might go down there and take me a free class.
There you go. Tell them,
Get a degree.
Tell them I sent you. Anyway, but in the meantime, they have a class I want to just add to this conversation, and that is a truck driving class. Not just any old truck, but an 18-wheeler, the big one.
I retired from driving a truck.
Oh, well, you know how well it pays, don't you? They are
yeah, I knew right off the bat.
They're teaching that at Wayne County Community College, the campus on I-94 in Carter on the east side. The scholarships are available, which means the class is free. That's for anybody 18 years of age and older. If you don't
what you need to include in that,
wait a minute, let me finish. If you don't have your CDL, that's your commercial driver's license, they help you get your commercial driver's license. And they have working relationships with trucking companies. They also get you a job when you are finished. Now, you can't beat that with a stick.
And it's
I
free.
wonder who made that saying up. That's
You,
right.
you got you guys are right, but I just wanted to add to that, and I let another caller call, is that the endorsements to that CDL is so important. When you're able to haul gasoline, explosive, doubles, and stuff like that, that pays even substantially more money. So
Yes.
let's not forget about the endorsement we can add to those CDL. Like,
Yes,
thanks for taking my
absolutely.
call, both of you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for calling.
Yes.
Great
So now
information.
he's going to vote yes on 4 proposals. Okay. Who next?
Hello, caller. You're on the air. Would you share your name and how you're viewing us, please?
Good morning.
Good
My
morning.
name is Barbara.
Hi,
I'm
Barbara.
Comcast 91.
All right.
This is the first time that I have disagreed with Dee Dee 100%. Why do we want to rush our children into drugs? Let's rush them into education. They got plenty of time when they get 21. If they're not following the drug laws now, they're not going to follow them. So why do we encourage this? I'm a great grandmother, and I'm so hard trying to get my kids. You got just like alcohol. You
Oh.
got plenty of time to do drugs,
Yeah.
and maybe when that time comes, you'll have sense enough not to be stopped by the police. I've never seen so many people encouraging youngsters to do marijuana. I mean, I listen to the lawyer. I listen to Deborah Thomas. And I know both of them can't be wrong. So I'm voted no already on it. Thank you for encouraging me to listen to your program.
Oh.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Now, the one thing that Attorney Keller recommends, and he's been practicing for 50 years, because he knows that there are young people who are using marijuana right now. This law says you have to be 21, which is the adult age in this state. He recommends that the people who intend to smoke it and the people who are currently smoking it, he recommends that they get a medical marijuana, medical
Card.
marijuana card. And we know that the law enforcement officers are going to continue arresting people. They're not going to stop that because it's against the federal law. And until the federal government makes it legal, then other law enforcement officers are going to continue their arrests. But in the meantime, Attorney Keller says that those who intend to smoke it, even though they call it recreational or whatever else they're calling it, they need to have a medical marijuana card. That's what they call it.
Yes.
Medical marijuana card. Okay. Somebody else on line.
Hello, caller. You're on the air. We are down to our last 2 minutes. If you have a brief comment or question.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that the WC3 vote yes, please, because they're offering any age to go for free, paying for their certificates, their trades, and also associate's degree. Vote yes on all the proposals to set yourself free. Thank you.
You're welcome. And in the meantime, they have a GED class at Wayne County Community College. So for those who need assistance learning to read in all areas, reading is urgently needed. So know that they have that class at Wayne County Community College also.
Hello, caller. You're the last one. We have about a minute and some change. So if you have a quick comment or thought, please share it with us.
Hi, Dee Dee.
Yes, ma'am.
Did I say something about the marijuana issue?
No, I didn't hear you say anything about
Okay,
the marijuana issue.
I know I'm getting senile.
You are not senile.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, but I think that's it up to anybody in their own
They don't decide.
family and how they feel.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't go out there saying how people should vote on that, but I'm gonna let another caller get through. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, actually, we're at the end of the program now. So, Theo?
Well, I always try to remember to say it's not necessary for you to know everything. What is necessary, however, is for you to know how to find what you need when you need it. We at Hood Research seek out as much information as we can to share with you. And we encourage you to do research too. As a gentleman called in and gave us the information today about absentee voting. And all of this information helps us all make better informed decisions.
If you want to be nothing, do nothing. But the only problem with doing nothing is you never know when you're finished. That phone number again for absentee ballot is 313-224-3270. And now,
we want to tell you for any other information you need, you can call Hood Research at 248-234-2371. And now,
stay tuned for Get in the Know with
Marley
Marley B.